Hi guys, welcome back to another trading video. It's been a little while since I've posted anything. I've just been having a little break really, and there's been a lot going on in the world, so risk has been increased. And yeah, I've had a tiny bit of a cold as well, so you might hear it in my chest. But yeah, I'm just going to talk through quickly, just a quick top-down approach for the Nasdaq and the E-mini. So overall I'm bearish. I'm liking how we've traded away from this order block on the weekly within both markets here, and I've got this fair value gap highlighted. We've got sell side liquidity underneath these lows, sell side here, and we've got the previous day low here and the previous week low, and then obviously the previous week high, and then Tuesday's previous week high. Okay, so these are the levels that I've drawn on my chart. So these are levels that the market will likely respond to with quite a high precision rate. Okay, so for the E-mini S&P, you can look at those levels as well. Right, so we've got this wick and the DOL, the drawn liquidity. I'm interested in the previous week low and this weekly sell side liquidity down here. Where it gets quite interesting, if we go to the daily chart on both time frames, both markets, and we zoom in, okay, we've got quite a bit going on. So we have this daily fair value gap which we tapped into, and then we've traded away from that. Within that, we have a daily inversion fair value gap and a weekly fair value gap as well. So if we just go back onto that weekly chart, we can see that's the weekly fair value gap in there that we're trading in, and then zooming into that, there's this daily fair value gap in red in here. Okay, so I'm liking how we've tapped into this daily fair value gap. We've left the previous week high up here. We've traded away, and we have this daily order block in here. So the order block, the change in the state of delivery. Okay, so we've got multiple higher time frame PD arrays, which is suggesting to us that this could go lower. Okay, so we've got quite a few things in there. So we've got the order block inside of the daily inversion fair value gap, inside of the weekly fair value gap, and that's across both markets as well. Slightly different on the E-mini, but you can see how it's outlined here with the levels and everything else that I have drawn onto the charts. So going into today, as you can see, I've got Tuesday's high marked out here and Tuesday's low. Now obviously when we're trading intraday, we don't need to hold on for these massive targets. For example, down here, it's not likely to happen within one day, but we can gauge an approach to, for example, targeting the previous day low. Okay, so where is it? So I'll make that a bit thicker. All right, so for Nasdaq, okay, I'm liking 150.50, the previous day low. I believe we could trade into that going into New York. And for E-mini, 4365.75, and we could also tap 4340 as well. All right, we do have this volume imbalance just here. So when this candle closed on Tuesday, when we opened, okay, notice how we just opened on the bottom of this daily fair value gap in here. Okay, and we've left a little bit of an imbalance in there. Okay, because this candle didn't open directly at this candle's close. Okay, it's left a bit of a gap, so we'll be cautious of that going into New York, because on the lower time frames, if we just go into the 15-minute, for example. Actually, let's go to the 5-minute, and we have a look at this. We can see that we have these relative equal highs just up here. Okay, and if we just look at this one candlestick here, which was printed at 1:55 a.m. New York time, we can see how it just literally wicked the top of that daily fair value gap and then rejected from there. Okay, then we have a lower high just up here. All right, so we're gonna have the open at 8:30, so I'm down on the 5-minute right now, and then the open could see us take out this buy side up here, and then we could begin to drop lower, but we're gonna have to see how that plays out. I'll be watching this inefficiency as well to see if we get anything from there. So there's a lot in the charts at the moment, but yeah, from an intraday perspective, okay, notice how we've literally traded again to the bottom of this weekly fair value gap, which is the grey shaded area. So if I just put this in a little bit, we can see how we've just traded outside of that. Okay, so we could pull back into it a little bit, into this inefficiency, sorry, and then go lower. So just below this previous day low, we've got these new week open gaps down here. So yeah, there's a lot going on in price at the moment. So I'm looking at these markets side by side because I like to see how they move together, and they're closely correlated as well. So let's just zoom into NASDAQ. Let's go into a 5-minute. And then we will take today's price at midnight, and then Tuesday's. So this is Tuesday's trading, all of this in here from this red line to this red line, and then this is where we're currently at. All right, so if we notice how we've got this swing here, consequent encouragement of 50% of that is directly on the new week open gap for Friday the 25th to Sunday the 27th of August, and notice how the market has respected those levels in there. We've got this little inefficiency just in here, which the market is reacting from, but notice how we've traded down into Friday the 6th to Sunday the 8th new week open gap. Okay, and then we're sort of hanging around there. So we need to really and truly wait for the open, because if we're bearish, we want to see slightly higher prices going into the open. So again, correlating that with the E-mini S&P, which are these highs just up here. So I'll draw a line to make this easier to see. So line here and line here. We've got these highs up here. All right, so we want to see how each market responds, whether we get a run above those highs and then a dump lower. So something like that, into that, and then dump lower into the previous day low, or whether we get the reaction from the inefficiency in here to go lower, or whether we blow all of this out and continue to trade up into the previous day high. All right, we'll get a lot more information when we have the open around 8:30, 9:30. If we do trade above this and we respect this high, then we could look to go long into this buy side up here, so this entire swing, to take out the previous day high up there for the E-mini. And likewise for the NASDAQ, we'll look to see which pair will be the leader. But yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown and what I'm looking at going into New York. So like I said, there's a lot going on this morning. You could frame both sides. So at the moment, I'm just sort of watching closely. I've noticed how we've traded to the bottom of that weekly fair value gap, taken out this sell side just here, traded into this inefficiency, tap that, and we've rejected away. If we treat this as an inversion fair value gap and go higher, we've got this to fill, and then like I said, that high up there. All right, so again, it's all about watching price and seeing what opportunities we can capitalize on. Obviously not risking very much because of everything that's going on in the world right now, so we've got to respect risk and try to be in and out of trades on a intraday basis, anything from like a 15-minute to down to like a 1-minute chart. Okay, so we don't really want to be holding because there's a black swan event just around the corner. We never know when it's going to come, and yeah, we just need to watch out for that and trade as well as we can. So I hope this was helpful going into the rest of the week and the following weeks. Remember those higher time frame draws on liquidity, and then yeah, take it from there. Hope this helps. Cheers.